You're listening to the Save the Date podcast, where we talk all things weddings, jewellery and romance. With love from Cullen Jewellery.
Hello and welcome back to the Save the Date podcast. I'm Sheridan.
And I'm Juliet, and we are so happy you're here.
Today, we are going to talk all about cocktail hour, why you need it, how long it needs to be, and what to do during it. I feel like this isn't really spoken about all that often, and it's one of those terms that kind of just gets thrown around when talking about weddings. So I am super excited to really dive into this.
So sit back, relax, and let's get straight into the episode.
So just as a quick overview, we're going to go through the main reasons for having cocktail hour, and then throughout the episode, we'll really dive into each of them. So the first reason why you might have cocktail hour is to take time away from your guests, just you and your partner, to, indulge in the feeling of being married. And this is also generally, and traditionally at the time when you would get your portraits done.
Yes. So yeah, just to clarify, this is done after the ceremony.
Yes.
It's like that time between the ceremony and your reception. A lot of people, there's usually a break in between.
Yeah.
So you have this cocktail hour to fill that space of time.
Mm-hmm. The next reason is, like Juliet was saying, a break between the ceremony and reception. And this is for your guests as well to, have a break, enjoy some food and a drink, and also, catch up with their family and friends as well.
Because it's not always easy for people to leave them and go do something else in between, because most of the time there's only maybe an hour or two in between the ceremony and the reception. So your guests aren't going to go back home for 30 minutes just to drive all the way back to your reception, or they're not going to go off and do their own thing. So it's kind of just catering to that.
Yep.
And having something prepared for them, because they're probably going to be a little bit peckish. They want something to drink while they wait for the proper celebrations to get started.
Yep. And then finally, the third, main reason is time for your venue to actually reset the area. So if you're having your ceremony and your reception in the same space, then your venue and the coordination team might just need some time to actually reset the area from how it was set up for your ceremony to your reception. So that's one of the main ones that's you definitely need it for this reason if that is kind of what your venue is like. All right, so now that we know the three, main reasons, let's really deep dive into each of them and break them down. So the first one that we're going to look at is taking time away from your guests just for you and your partner. So something to be, mindful of is that on your wedding day, it's really nonstop from the moment you wake up to the ceremony. So especially if you are a bride or you're getting your hair and makeup done, all of those sorts of things, it's really go, go, go. You might be...
Once you start, you don't stop.
You might be awake at 6 a.m. already with bridesmaids getting makeup and hair done. And that's crazy intense. And then you're getting your makeup done. If you don't have a wedding planner or a day of coordinator, you might be finalizing things for the day, getting the flowers from your florist or anything like that. And then your photographer and your videographer comes, and then you've got to travel to the venue. You're getting dressed at the venue. It's crazy. And then you finally get to the ceremony and it's your your first chance the whole day to actually
breathe.
Just take a breath and go, oh my God, actually it's my wedding day now. So you definitely kind of need a bit of a break. And then as well, you go straight into the ceremony, which is another really intense thing. Obviously you're marrying the person that you love. So it's very emotional, very intense. So it's important after that to just, take a little bit of time, just you and your partner, to actually just sit down for a second and relax.
Yes, especially, and straight after the ceremony as well, you're going to be interacting with your guests.
Yeah,
that can be very I don't want to say draining, because it's your wedding day and it's obviously going to be really happy and joyful, but it can take a little bit out of you to, with so much going on, that it is nice to just sit and recharge. Especially if that is kind of, you're a person where that is kind of your nature. Like me, I get very easily socially drained. So I do need that time to even just if I'm at a party or something, I just to like
just like
relax.
go take 5 minutes. No, 100%. It's like, I understand what you're saying. It's kind of like, yes, all of your guests are there like for you and it's a very happy time, but it can get very overwhelming. Like,
yes.
Especially as the bride, when you like haven't seen anybody throughout the day. Like if you are not walking down the aisle on your wedding day and you're going to mingle with your guests beforehand, like what I guess grooms typically do, they would like greet guests and everything and then stand at the aisle waiting for you. So they kind of have done all of that, but as the bride, you haven't done that yet. So you're literally saying hello to everyone while they're saying congratulations and like people are asking you questions about the morning and there's just a lot going on. So it's definitely nice straight after the ceremony to just be able to spend a little bit of time just with your partner and just, recharge. So I know a lot of people will go kind of elsewhere for their photos. So you might get married at one venue. Some people will have their ceremony and their reception in 2 different locations. And if that's the case, a lot of the time you might go to a 3rd separate location altogether for your photos. If this is the case for you, I would still recommend trying to take some time away from like your portrait session, even if it's like taking a picnic basket with some snacks or something so that you can just like sit down with your partner and just have that time to kind of connect with them and recharge.
Because it can be a mix of taking 5 and just, having a bite to eat and just chilling, as well as getting those photos done of the 2 of you.
Yeah. Something else as well is that I know that some people will want to attend their cocktail hour, and this is obviously fine, and I would have loved to be able to like attend mine because I have no idea
what happened,
what the cocktail hour was actually like at my wedding. But you just need to consider how you're going to be getting your portraits done instead. So the first thing that you might do is have a first look instead of getting your portraits done after the ceremony. You might get them done beforehand. This is kind of getting, I guess, a bit more popular in current times. And I think this is honestly the main reason why, is because people don't want to
miss out
on anything on the wedding day. Like you spend so much time planning it.
Yeah.
You want to be able to take part in everything.
And I feel like that cocktail hour is also a bit of a different vibe to actually the reception. Like with the reception, you usually have some like reasonably loud music going on in the background and you're being pulled in every different direction. So I feel like if you kind of can attend your cocktail hour, it kind of gets all of that stuff out the way a bit earlier on and it gives you a bit of extra time to do the rounds if that's kind of what you want to do.
That's so true as well. And it's like a bit less structured too. Because once you get to the reception, generally it's like if you're having a sit down meal, you'll sit and have your meal. Yeah. And then you might cut the cake or do speeches. Yeah. Everything's like, again, more structured.
And then you're trying to say hello to everyone in between all of that. It's a lot. So if you can get the hellos out the way or the chatting and doing the rounds of the room in that cocktail hour time, it will free you up a little bit more at the reception.
And then, like I was saying before, you can just have a shorter time with your photographer and only do your portraits for kind of half of the time of the cocktail hour and then go and spend the rest of that time with your guests, enjoying a drink and some appetizers. The last thing that you can do if you do want to attend your cocktail hour, or the last thing that we would kind of recommend, is that you can opt for a documentary style photographer. So these are photographers that don't generally take you away from the, I guess, ceremony, reception, cocktail hour setting. They'll just take photos of you interacting with your guests, with your partner, and it's a bit more natural rather than those, I guess, stylized shoots. So even if you do want to participate in your cocktail hour, so even if, say, you do have a first look, you take all of your portraits before the ceremony has even started, we would still definitely recommend taking time away from everybody straight after the ceremony. So while everyone is participating in the cocktail hour kind of thing, just go and take 10 to 15 minutes with just you and your partner to really embrace the moment of like just being married, because it's like a really wild feeling.
Yeah. And I feel like as well, once like the night starts and the reception and everything, you don't really get that opportunity. Like that's, I guess, the one opportunity straight after you're married, apart from at the very, very end of the night, where you get that, chance to just sit with your partner and enjoy it and even take it all in.
Even like if you're trying to do that at the end of the night, you're like so tired and generally you've had a few drinks. Like the last thing that you want to do is like sit down and have a debrief necessarily with your partner. It's like that's usually then happens the day after. But it's nice to spend that time and like talk about your mornings if you spent them apart, or your vows, how you were nervous or anything like that. It's just like you get to actually speak about it right after it happened, rather than trying to remember something that like literally went past in the flash of an eye that you barely remember now. Okay, so the next reason that you would have your cocktail hour is a break for your guests, for them to have something to eat, drink, and catch up. So as much as like it's your wedding, if you're having lots of friends and family attend, chances are it is going to turn into like a little bit of a family reunion. Like they're going to want to catch up, they want to speak to each other and, see what's been going on. So it is like the perfect time, I guess, for your guests to have that like mingle between themselves and just catch up.
Yeah, and chit-chat, get all the chit-chat out the way.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, how are you? Yeah. Like, all that kind of love your outfit. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then it's party time later.
Yes. Yeah. And they can take like their photos together. And, yeah.
With daylight, good lighting.
Yes. Something to be, I guess, mindful of during your cocktail hour is to make sure that there's somebody kind of telling your guests what to do. So they're not just kind of stood around being like, oh, are we going to get drinks brought out to us? Are we getting food brought out to us? Or do we need to go inside the venue? Do we need to go up to the bar?
Or just in general where they're meant to be.
Yeah.
If they're allowed to sit down somewhere, or if it's, just ushering them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you also want to make it known for your guests if there's a tab on the bar, what's included. Like I know at my wedding we did, just for cocktail hour, we had an open bar tab so they could get spirits, wine, beer, anything that they wanted. But then after cocktail hour was over, we just had beer and wine. Yeah. So just so that they kind of know what they can and can't get that's included on your tab, or if they need to buy it themselves if they can.
And that can be as simple as just having like a little menu card thing on the counter. Like you don't necessarily need someone speaking it to your guests or whatever. Like most people understand that, like, if they've got a little drink menu on the counter, like it's like, oh, that's what's available to purchase or to order on the tab.
So something to keep in mind during your cocktail hour is that you always want to have something for your guests to do, something for them to eat or drink, and something for them to watch. This is just going to make sure that it doesn't like feel like that time is dragging. So an example of like these kind of things is you might have your guest book open and like in a spot where they can access it during this time, and you're wishing well if you're having one, or anywhere for them to put their cards or gifts. It could be like listening to your music if you have a live band, like even just something like that is entertaining enough for your guests that it's going to help them pass time. Like if you've got a band, they're singing, everyone loves to like sit and watch and
just listen,
sing along and just listen. And then, if you've got like a bar, definitely make sure that you have appetizers going around, because people will get hungry. You don't know how long they've traveled necessarily to get there, when they had lunch, that kind of thing. So definitely make sure that you've got something for them to eat, because
that's a big one.
Yeah.
And at a bare minimum, like water or something as well.
Yeah.
Just something, even if you don't want to open that up to a bar at that point, just some basic drinks, maybe some soft drink, or at the very least some water, because same thing, you don't know how long it's been since your guests have had something, so you don't want them being uncomfortable during that time waiting around.
Or even if you have like lawn games or something like that, like just something for them to do. Just make sure that they know where they are, because I know that at my wedding, I don't know if people really use them, again, because I didn't attend my cocktail hour. I have no idea, but they were in like a totally different kind of spot. It was like out on the grass but around the corner. So yeah, make sure that if that is the case and they're in kind of a funny spot, that somebody knows where they are and can like be the first one to move over that into that direction. Because otherwise, like, those things aren't going to get used. It's also good to note here that if you only have one photographer, your guests' cocktail hour generally won't be documented. So like, you won't really know what happened. Like, I don't know. So if it's important for you to kind of see that and have those photos for your like memories to look back on, make sure that you have a secondary photographer who is there documenting that. So that might be just like your photographer has an assistant who, I mean, you might have two photographers that are there for the whole time, which I know some people definitely have multiple photographers on the day. But if that's not what you're wanting to do, you can always just have someone come for the hour.
Yeah, another alternative to that that's a more affordable option is to even have film cameras around during that cocktail hour, because people love a film camera and they'll just document it for you.
Yeah, that's so true, actually. So, you can get them for like super cheap.
Yeah.
Just like the disposable ones.
Yeah, you can just get a couple and put them on the tables or wherever your cocktail hour is going to be, and then just leave it up to your guests to capture the moments. Yeah,
that's so true. Or even like if you have a photo booth or something, that's
something like that.
I guess another more expensive option.
Yeah.
But if you have a photo booth for the night, it's like such a great option to have that extended to also be part of your cocktail hour, because again, it's just going to be something else for your guests to do.
Yeah, and you can move it if like you can have it with wherever the cocktail hour is, and then you can bring it over to the reception.
Yeah, 100%. I love photo booths, by the way.
Yeah, they're so much fun.
They're a bit of a blast.
Yeah.
So how long does cocktail hour need to be and why? So I guess it's kind of like in the name. Generally speaking, it would be about an hour. I would say don't do it any less than an hour.
It might just start feeling a bit rushed if it's less than an hour. For you, number one, to get photos done, you'd be surprised how much time this takes to get some, like, especially if you're going for those really kind of traditional wedding photos, like they can be quite time consuming. And you might actually find that the photographer you're working with recommends more than an hour to get all the shots done, especially if you want more than one location for those photos. So definitely at a bare minimum an hour. And then on the other side of it too, you don't want your guests feeling like they're being ushered to one spot and then now we're moving over here, and you don't want it to be too much for everyone.
And also, like we were saying, like your guests are going to catch up with each other, and if your guests are anything like my family, they can talk for a long time.
Yes.
So they'll probably spend most of that hour catching up.
And like by the time like everyone, like depending if you're getting married in a church or if you're getting married like at another location, by the time everyone kind of gets up from their seat after the ceremony, people might run back to the car to drop stuff off. Like that in itself takes up about 15 minutes for your guests. So you want to have kind of a reasonable amount of time for them to just kind of settle. Yeah,
100%. And then this is also generally going to include some time when your coordinator will kind of guide your guests through to the reception space. So that's like another thing that is probably going to take up 15 or so minutes. For by the time they get everyone rounded up, people go to the bathroom, like freshen up, go to the car if they need to. That's going to take some time for them to actually then get seated in your reception space ready for you to enter.
Yes.
So, already we're looking at like half an hour being taken up by
just
nothing.
That. Just movement.
Just movement, So to only then have half an hour for them to like mingle and all of that sort of thing, it's like not that much time at all. And it'll go by so quickly if you just have that hour. So 100%, if it's like within your options to have a little bit longer than that, definitely look at it as an option, because it's going to be worth it.
Absolutely.
And then, remember, you can extend it so that you can join cocktail hour as well. And then that's going to like make it more exciting at the same time. Like once you re-enter, people are going to get excited again and it'll kind of refresh the vibe as well. So it's not going to feel for your guests like it's going for too long because there'll be something new for them to watch and look at. And
like you could take that hour for photos and then, you could add on an extra half hour to like meet your guests there. Yeah. And like you said, it's not going to really feel like it's dragging too much because that creates excitement when the couple rocks up.
I kind of wish, like looking back, that I had done something more like that because we did like a formal reception entry where it was like all of our guests were seated and then the MC was like, and welcoming Mr. and Mrs. And I kind of like looking back, I'm like, why did we do that? Like that's so like it was fun and it was nice and like, you know, whatever. But like it's just so not us. Yeah. It was kind of just like what the like band that we had, they emceed for us as well. What they did, it was what the venue did. So we just kind of went, oh yeah, okay, like that's just what you do. But looking back on it, I'm like that it would have been so much more fun for us if we had extended that like cocktail hour a little bit and then got to go and mingle with our guests at that time rather than enter the reception, we cut our cake and then we sat down and ate dinner and it was like we couldn't even say hello to anyone.
Yeah.
It was like
less personal.
In a way, definitely less personal. So definitely have a think about like we kind of often say, think about what you and your partner want for your wedding day. And if you're wanting that more like formal celebration, then definitely like don't necessarily attend cocktail hour. But if you are wanting something that is a little bit more relaxed and joining cocktail hour is going to be a better reflection of your relationship, then you don't have to like just go with the tradition of not attending it. Yeah. You can just do whatever you want. All right, so to wrap it up, we're just going to go through the 3 main biggest takeaways for the episode. So first up, if you are tossing up whether or not you need a cocktail hour, yes, you definitely do. It's great for both you and your guests to have a break between the 2 kind of intense celebrations and very structured celebrations as well. Just a little bit of time for you to relax, mingle, have a chat, and just kind of be a bit more relaxed rather than like go for the whole day.
Next, make sure your guests have something to do, eat, drink and watch during this time. Otherwise, it can start to lag a little bit for them, and also you don't want them being uncomfortable during that time where they're waiting for reception. People get a bit antsy and cranky if they're getting hungry and have nothing to drink. So definitely have that as a top priority for this cocktail hour.
Yep, eat and drink especially. Yeah. And then finally, you can absolutely still join your cocktail hour if that is what you want, but you might just need to make some adjustments to your timeline to do so. But there's nothing wrong with attending it if that is what you would like to do. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Save the Date podcast. We hope you learned something new, and if you're currently planning your wedding, congratulations, good luck, and have fun.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you follow or subscribe and leave us a review wherever it is that you're listening.
Make sure to come and connect with us on our socials at the Save the Date podcast and join our Facebook group, the Save the Date community. We hope you have a wonderful day or night, and we will be back with another episode next week. Bye.
Bye.